Hello, wonderful people of YouTube land. Lumpy Ice Cream here. Today we're going to be reviewing a film from 2000, and that is none other than X-Men! X-Men! This is the day. We're looking at X-Men. Uh, One of the three films credited with bringing the modern day superhero movie to life. The other two being Blade, which we're not going to look at because I honestly couldn't give two shits about Blade. I have seen the movie, not in a long ass time. I just don't care about Blade that much to invest in watching three movies. And the other being Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. These are credited as putting superhero movies on the map and shaping the superhero movies that came after. Sure, if you want to believe that, that's fine. I would probably agree. However, I don't think X-Men is that good a movie at all. As a kid, yeah, I loved it. It has not aged well. I'm very sorry. This was filmed in like the late 90s, but came to us in 2000. I guess the way I can sum it up is it's a very generic movie. Not a lot happens. In fact, if I could go based off genericness alone, this would be the worst of the X-Men movies. Sadly, we have the Wolverine and X-Men Origins Wolverine that do things far worse than be just generic. But we will get to that later. Is this going to be a rant? Somewhat, but also it doesn't annoy me that this movie is boring. We get better X-Men films as we go along, and plus this movie is no longer canon in the X-Men universe, so that's fine too. Am I upset, by the way, that Days of Future Past redid every... Spoilers for that, I guess. No, I'm not angry because, to be honest, most of the X-Men movies were shit anyway. The only exceptions, in my mind, were X-Men 2, and I personally liked elements of The Last Stand, which we'll get to later. But I'm fine with sacrificing those two for a clean slate, because we still have First Class, which is one of the best X-Men movies. So, but let's focus on this one. Let's talk about the plot, which I can't really do. The plot is basically non-existent. We don't get much of interest here. There's not really anything interesting going on. It's just Magneto abducting Senator Kelly and just shit going on. That's really it. So, guys, sadly, I have to give the plot a 1. It's a very generic plot, and it's just... Okay, Magneto's basic plot is to turn everyone in the area of his weird machine thing into a mutant. Or it's gonna kill them, I can't remember. I think it ends up... I don't know. I can't say that without discussing spoilers, which I'm not gonna do. But yeah, it's just... Ugh. It's bad. Let's move on to our cast and characters. I think one of the strongest points of the X-Men franchise is the cast that they get to portray these characters are fantastic. The characters, not so much. Some of the characters are left by the wayside while Hugh Jackman gets the most things to do, which I do not agree with at all. I'm fine with Wolverine getting his own movies, but for him to also be front and center in all the X-Men movies as well it's why I'm kind of glad that that Hugh Jackman has decided to hang up the claws. But yeah, let's just get into the cast. We get Hugh Jackman as Logan and Wolverine. I am a big fan of Wolverine, and I'm a big fan of Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine. What I'm not happy with is how reduced his character is, and what I mean by that is In the comics, he is berserker rage. He is killing people left, right, and center. We never really get that in the movie. I think the most we get it is in X-Men 2 during the mansion raid. But yeah, I hope that we get that with his final portrayal. With the success that Deadpool is currently getting, and that's a MA here, R over in America. I'm hoping they can do that for Wolverine. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed, guys. I want that. Maybe they'll open their eyes a little. But yeah, he's a really good choice for Wolverine. He's not your conventional Wolverine. He's Australian. And he's not short. He's a tall guy. But I think he does do a really good job at portraying Wolverine. Then we get Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. What more do you want? He's the perfect choice. This is why the MCU, if Marvel get the rights back to X-Men, which will never happen, by the way, they are royally fucked. How are they going to get anyone on the level of Patrick fucking Stewart? Okay? They have nailed the cast so heavily. I don't think they could ever... If Marvel do get the rights back, it's like the Fantastic Four. People just don't give a shit about the Fantastic Four anymore. So if Marvel do ever get the rights back, I don't think anyone would give a fuck. It's just like this. They have nailed the casting. How would they ever get the cast to beat this cast? I mean, sure they could, but that's a rant for another day. Then we have Ian McKellen as Eric Lensher / Magneto. He does a really good job as well. He provides us with a very layered portrayal. And I just think that, there's so much elegance in the character of Magneto, and Ian McKellen nails that to a fucking T. We get Halle Berry as Aurora Monroe and Storm. She's probably the weakest of all of the X-Men, especially the lead X-Men. I just don't think she's been particularly stellar in any of the movies. This one, she's putting on some weird accent, and then it disappears in either the next movie or in this movie. But yeah, she just doesn't do that good a job, if I can be honest. We get Famke Janssen as Jean Grey. She does a really good job. I like her portrayal of Jean Grey. Very mature, like Jean Grey should be. And yeah, just does a really good job. She has that look as well. Especially when she goes all Dark Phoenix in the third movie. Oh god, the evil look she has is fucking dead on. It's frightening. We then have James Marsden as Scott Summers / Cyclops. Cyclops is one of my favorite X-Men, and it's kind of upsetting that he's not even playing second fiddle to Wolverine. He's very low key in all the X-Men movies, and I hope that fucking changes. I want to see Cyclops be there. I want him to be the Captain America of the X-Men universe. So what MCU Captain America is to the Avengers, I want Cyclops to be to the X-Men. That's what I fucking want in a Cyclops. Does he need to be the most interesting character? No, he's very Boy Scoutish, just like Captain America and Superman and all of that. But I still would really want to see him just be better in these movies and get more to do. Because I do think James Marsden could have that down packed. He's really good with what we get of him. But yeah, just we need more. Bruce Davison as Senator Robert Kelly. He does a fine job with what he needs to do. Rebecca Rimijn-Stamos as Raven Darkholme / Mystique. Again, she gets a really... she does a good job of what she's given. The look of her, too, is very unique. It's still very comic-ish, but at the same time very brand new. They've given her that texture to the skin, which I'm kind of glad they gave her. But yeah, she does a fine job at what she needs to do as well. Then we get Ray Park as Mortimer Toynbee / is that how you pronounce his name? I don't know. / Toad. He also does a good job for being Toad. Tyler Mane as Victor Creed / Sabretooth. I don't know if they just regulated him to Raws and shit and then recast him when it came time for Origins, because I don't know if Tyler Mane has acting ability or not. The only other thing I've seen him in is in the Halloween films where he portrays Michael Myers, and he doesn't talk in that either. So I'm not sure if he has actual acting ability or if they just bring him in to play these stoic characters. I don't know. Or I don't know why he wasn't chosen for Origins, and instead they get someone who does not even look anything remotely like Tyler Mane. And then we get Anna Paquin as Rogue / Marie. I guess she's probably the secondary X-Men, maybe third behind Jean in these movies. Anna Paquin does a pretty good job at playing Rogue, I think. It's not the Rogue I would prefer. I would prefer a Rogue kind of closer to the animated series, you know, that real tough kind of thing. She just seems very generic by the numbers, kind of just character. We got Shawn Ashmore as Bobby Drake / Iceman, who's very minimal. Doesn't really become Iceman until the sequels, but whatever. We get your traditional cameos. You get George Boozer, I believe that's his name, who did the voice of Beast in the X-Men animated series. He appears as the truck driver who drops Rogue off at the bar. So, yeah. It's fun that they got him in. Beast is one of the better parts of those. Well, not better parts. That animated series as a whole is really good, with the exception of the last, 2 seasons. But yeah, he is one of my favorite parts of that animated series. The costumes, I can understand why they would change them. The X-Men do have some pretty cheesy costumes. You gotta admit that. So you got Wolverine, this badass character, and he's in yellow. Not the most manly of colors, or most intimidating, rather, I should say, not manly. Yellow is fine. There's nothing wrong with yellow. It's just not the most intimidating of colors, especially when you're wearing a costume that's predominantly yellow. But yeah, I'm fine with the changes that they've made to the costume, but at the same time, I do hope in the future we see some things that are a little more not comic accurate, but that just kind of imply comic accuracy. Just like I love the Days of Future Past costumes. Those are really cool. They're their own unique costumes, which is really good. I want to see more of that in the X-Men. Not enough to make them look like the Avengers, but enough so that they still look like a team. But yeah. So the cast and the characters get a 10 because the casting is on point for the most part. Even though they aren't very utilized here, I think now see the cast and the characters. I can't decide. The casting is so perfect that I feel like giving it a point off because the character... No, okay. I'll give it a point off. I'll give it a 9. Just because the casting is fantastic. But I don't think they've ever known what to do with the characters of the X-Men. At least until First Class. Which we'll get to later. But yeah, guys. The tone. As mentioned, it's a very generic by-the-numbers movie. The only reason I'm giving the tone a 2 is because it feels like an X-Men movie, not a generic superhero movie, and that's the only reason. You do get a sense of mutants being hated, not as much as the sequels, but yeah, here, I think when they find out Wolverine's a mutant, they kick him out and it's we won't serve you and all of that shit. So yeah. So the overall, guys, is a 12 out of a possible 30. For an out of 10, it's a 2, and that's just for the cast. Not that good a movie, if I can be honest. As a kid, I thought it was pretty cool, but I was a big X-Men fan, so yeah. But as I've gotten older, I really, it wasn't even until like last year, the year before, when I rewatched it. I'm like, yeah, when Days of Future Past was coming out, I marathoned X-Men, and I'm like, that was a pretty bad movie. Maybe it was, and then after I watched it, I'm like, maybe it's a case of I remember it being fantastic, and then it wasn't as good, and then I watched it again, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that was pretty boring, bad movie. But, I think it was before the X-Men came into their own and kind of developed, and before even superhero movies had done that, really. We had the 89 Batman, and then it kind of just went south after that. But yeah, this was definitely the best of the earliest, best Marvel film that I remember. So much better than that Captain America movie from 1990. Oh my god, I don't want to do a rant on that. One, I can barely remember it, thank God, and oh, fuck that movie. But yeah, guys, that was my thoughts on X-Men. Let me know what you think of this movie. Do you share my thoughts? Do you not? Please let me know. Please smack that like button, hit subscribe, share, all that cool shit. And I shall see you in the next video. Till then, take care. I've been Lumpy Ice Cream. You've been the wonderful people of YouTube land. I shall see you next time. Take care. Bye. Farewell. Bye.